of you back. Welcome to 184 Days Teaching Truths. My name is Christy Grandjean.
And I'm Carrie Allard. Well, this show was a hit. Just want you all to know. I think we're our biggest fans, but whatever.
Of course.
We decided that we wanted to start doing this twice a month, the first and third Tuesday from 4 to 5, because we have a lot to say about education. Not just in Vegas, not just Clark County, but doing our research, looking at the nation as a whole. We've been doing this quite a while, and our friends and family are sick of listening to us talk about teaching, so we're trying to find a whole new audience. So tell your peeps to watch our show.
Absolutely. So, you pointed out, Carrie, like, how many years have you been teaching?
This would be my 19th year.
Wow.
Yeah. But I look young, though.
You do. You look amazing.
Christy, how long have you been teaching?
27 years. So sometimes it's hard to think about that. I don't feel that age, but definitely it's the way it is. You can't stop that clock. So
how was your 27th time coming back from winter break?
Wow, I know, right? Like, oh my gosh. So this year wasn't too bad. Today was so I had a few friends who maybe came back to school a little tired. We had a couple of friends maybe slumping in their seats, maybe wanting to take a nap about 10 o'clock. I had about 5 friends ask me what time lunch was by 9:30. So I guess, that's the part that's hard for them to come back.
Oh, yeah.
And so especially first graders, in the bathroom, there's always issues. I have to go to the bathroom every 10 minutes. So yeah, we're going to have to retrain in so many ways.
Well, in middle school land, we had a wacky schedule, and this is my first year in middle school, so I found out that your Canvas page doesn't automatically populate with all of your things for a second semester. So guess whose Canvas pages are blank? This girl. And so wacky schedule, I had kids in the wrong place at the wrong time, lots of confusion. But overall, it was a pretty good day. I don't know if my socks match. I'm not even quite sure that my pants match this shirt. So good thing I'm sitting down. But we made it through the day, and we made it here, and we're super proud of ourselves. So yay for anybody else who made it out today.
Awesome.
Okay. So let's just kind of talk about our inspiration for this show. What, besides the fact that we think we know a lot, what else kind of inspired us to do this?
So over the summer, a group of teachers got together and we did a book study. And the book was called The Teachers, and it was written by Alexandra Robbins. And we met, we kind of met virtually and through and in person. And what was really interesting about the reading and the discussion was that we were all feeling like, wow, it didn't matter where in the United States you worked. This happens with teachers no matter what, right? No matter if you're middle school, high school, elementary school, if you're in California or Maine, it didn't matter. These things that this author talked about, this is what teachers go through. And so much of it is information that parents don't know. A lot of times they have a very different perspective. A lot of times, people who aren't in education but think they know about education. It was such a good read for even people that, aren't educators. But for us, it was a really hard read because we could relate to so much of what the teachers went on in their lives through this book. So,
yeah, for me, the book kind of lighted something inside of me that had been there for a while. And I remember saying in the comments of one of our chats, I feel like something needs to be done. And it's not just oh, this is a great book and we're going to keep it between teachers, but how can we turn this knowledge and how we were feeling into action? And at the same time, there were things going on with our own school district. And so there were a lot of social media posts and stuff about some trouble teachers were having between the district, the union, things like that. And we're not going to get into that, but I read a lot of the comments from people that weren't teachers. And a lot of it just kind of showed a bit of confusion and misunderstanding about our job, different aspects of it, different misconceptions, kind of things that are out there that seem to be the norm, but they weren't really what was happening in schools. So, and I will say definitely some of them bothered me, right? But what's the point of getting upset? You're not going to change anybody's mind, and then you're just feeding into the drama. So I thought, why not, instead of getting upset, why not just talk about it? So let's just try to shed some light and provide some information, not just from Vegas or Clark County or Nevada, but the nation as a whole, because the challenges that teachers face and the positive, amazing things about this job are not just here, they're everywhere.
Absolutely.
So,
And so can we talk about for a minute, the title of our show is 184 Days. I had someone who wasn't in education ask me about the 184 days. What does that mean? And I said, well, teachers are contracted for 184 days. Those are the days we get paid to work. And the rest of the time, like, well, we were just on winter break. We don't get paid for winter break. We get those days off, yes, but there's no pay for those days because we're not working. We're contract workers, right? So we work 184 contracted days. And during that time, we're talking about those things that matter to teachers, things that are happening that maybe other people just don't know. And we just feel like we could shed some light on that and maybe help teachers to see that, A, they're not alone, right? There's a lot of us out there who are experiencing the exact same things you are, and the same joys too, by the way. I went into teaching not for a paycheck, clearly, but because I love kids and I love teaching children, and that's why most teachers go into teaching. They're not there for monetary compensation in the way that other careers can give you that. So it's kind of nice to be able to talk with other teachers and have other people who don't understand all the things about education ask us questions. Please make sure that you ask us questions that we can maybe shed some light on for you so that it clears up a lot of those misunderstandings.
And also what you're saying makes me think of the song that we picked for our intro. So I have always loved the chorus of that song, and it's reminded me of what it feels like when I'm in the classroom and we're rocking and rolling and things are going well and there's no other place that I want to be. So, and I really do feel like, except on bad days, I was born to do this. This is definitely my calling, but it doesn't mean that I'm okay with all of the things that go on, right? And it doesn't mean that I'm okay with people not signing up to be teachers anymore. We have to find a way to try to fix this profession to make it something that more people are interested in going into.
For sure. And while money helps, please don't misunderstand. Yeah, that's nice. It doesn't always keep people in the profession for 30 years, right? So we want to lend out that ear to people. We hear you, and we want to have really constructive discussions through this show. So we're hoping that, as the show goes on, we would like you to, join us in the chat. We also have a phone number, and the phone number is 702-992-3207. And so if you like to go old school and phone call, we'll take that way too, but we also have a chat. So please let us know if you have anything that you'd like to add to our conversation today or even in the future.
Yeah, we definitely want this show to be one with a lot of audience participation. So asking questions, comments, sending us topic ideas, research that you find. We do want this to be very informative, yet lighthearted as well. So our motto is being informed is greater than being opinionated. So we're going to try really hard to back up our stuff with information and facts. So if you find something super relevant out there from a reputable source, please send it to us. We also have an email address, teachingtruths184@gmail.com. Send us articles, send us random funny things that kids say and do. We are going to have a random funny segment every show as well, because we all need a good laugh.
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And please don't make it like crickets. When you're in the classroom and like the kids are not talking to you like pretty much the entire day today because they were so tired. It's like you're talking to yourself and they're just staring at you blankly. Okay, that's what it feels like for us on the screen because we can't see any of your faces. So when you put comments in, it's like kids are interacting, raising their hands, right? So we feel like we're actually in the classroom with a group of people. So help us out. All right. So hold up, I'm checking my notes. I told you I don't even know if my socks match. So, okay. All right. So as Christy was saying, our title is actually a fact from the first show. If you watch the first show, you learn that in Clark County, we have 184 contracted days. So we feel like the title of the show also fits our purpose. So it's facts and it's a bit of humor as well. I had some other funny titles that were shot down. And also the background, I thought maybe it should look like we were in detention, but that idea was also shot down. So here we are in our adorable little Bitmoji classroom, which I know if you taught during COVID, you totally remember that, right? Okay, kept us going. All right, so we have the email, teachingtruths184@gmail.com. We have our YouTube channel, 184 Days Teaching Truths, and Facebook as well, 184 Days Teaching Truths, and then you can call it. All right, so should we get to a funny? What do you think, Christy?
I that would be great.
Okay.
I would love to share a funny. So.
Okay. All right. Do you want to go first?
No, I'm going to let you go first. I'm going to let you go first.
But I'm kind of a hog and I have two, so maybe I'll do one.
Okay, and then I'll do one.
And then we'll come back. Okay.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
We want to give you a preview of some of our upcoming topics that we've already started researching. So don't go anywhere. All right. So, okay. I've taught elementary for the first 18 years, everything from K through 5, except for 4th. I didn't teach 4th grade. And this is my first year in middle school. So anyway, taught 3rd grade for a few years. Love 3rd grade. So we had a high school student come in and visit and just kind of talk with the 3rd graders about kind of, what's next, what it's like to be a teenager with school and things like that. So we had like the Q&A section and some kids are like, what's your favorite color? How many classes do you have? Blah, blah, blah. And one of my special friends asked this high school student, that he did not know very well, what her blood type was. He thought that was necessary information to know. And she just kind of, because I don't actually think she knew. And it was pretty funny.
I don't think
actually.
I know.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
I know.
So just the fun random things that kids will say. And always when you have a guest and you can't take it back. All right, your turn.
Okay. So this is a few years back. But Christmas gifts, teachers get all sorts of Christmas gifts, a lot of mugs, by the way. No more mugs. Nobody, if you've been teaching more than 5 years, you probably have about 20 to 25 mugs. Don't get me wrong. They're fun, but we probably have enough. So this one student didn't give me a mug. They gave me a perfume. By the way, perfume smelled great. Really loved the smell of the perfume, but the name of the perfume might have been a little weird. It was called Very Sexy. I was a 1st grade teacher, so that was and I'm opening the presents in front of the kids. and you're like, oh. And they kind of cover up the name of the bottle. By the way, I wore the whole bottle. I'm just gonna say Victoria's Secret Very Sexy brand was really good. Really enjoyed that for probably a good 4 months or so, but just the name of the perfume was a little weird for a teacher to get. Just gonna maybe say
Yeah. So I'm gonna add on to that. I had a kindergartner once when I was teaching kindergarten spill the beans that his family was going to surprise me with a kitten. And I am horribly allergic, and so are 2 of my children. So I kind of had to gently say, no, we're not going to do that. But I would so love the kitten, but no, thank you. So here's my other funny. This is actually the same student that did this that year in 3rd grade. So at our school, we have the free breakfast every morning. It can get a little bit messy sometimes with spills and things. And that year, our classroom was really, really crowded because we were in an old building, just a single story, and we were having construction done on a second 2-story building. So we're keeping our old building, but we're getting the construction done, built from scratch, this brand new building, right? So they had to take down some of the portables and everybody had to come inside. So as you can imagine, we were extra crowded because we're already crowded enough that we need a whole separate building. So we have the whole school plus some in the building. And that year my class, for some reason, just had a ton of kids in it. And it was half the size of a regular classroom. So there was nowhere for us ever to escape. Okay. So we can't even make eye contact with each other sometimes without kids getting annoyed with each other. Okay. So this little friend was having breakfast, randomly fell out of his seat, and we couldn't miss it because the room's so quiet and tiny. We all turned to look at him and he goes, "I'm sorry, I waxed my arms last night, so I'm very slippery."
And with that, we're going to take our very first break.
Most business owners struggle with the following issue. How do I brand my business to get noticed? Double Eight Design Studio helps businesses by designing brands that boost confidence, look and feel timeless, stand out from the competition, and attract all the right clients. Whether you are in need of a new brand, upgraded design elements, or completely redesign your current brand, Double Eight Design Studio has fully customized packages for your business. Call Chelsea McKendrick at 702-525-3334 and visit www.double8designstudio.com. Let Double Eight Design Studio give you a brand new outlook for your business. Are you looking for someone to provide training to your staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas and I can blend my talents with any audience. For more information, please visit www.aaronzauer.vegas and book me for your next event or training needs.
Guess what? We forgot to tell you before we went on commercial break to make sure you come back and see us. So, hi, we're here. Our boss reminded us. So,
What's the name of the show?
Oh, the name of the show, 184 Days Teaching Truths. I'm Carrie Allard.
I'm Christy Grandjean. Welcome back.
Yeah.
So we have a comment in the chat. So let's see. It says, how supportive has your family been during your career? What a great question. Wow. Is it fully loaded? Are you listening, family? I hope you are, because you might be the only 5 people watching, but hey,
that's because they're supporting us.
that's right. Gosh, you know what? Teachers work really long hours, right? Especially the first 5 years of teaching, or, year 27, whichever. And so I would say my family's been, for the most part, pretty supportive. They understand that some days are really long and not always easy. So I would tell you that there are definitely times where I've come home and I'm not my goofy, silly self. And they just kind of go, oh, she might need a minute.
Yeah, I would say my kids, none of them want to be teachers now because they spent way too much time in school with me before, after, and in the summer. So they're a little over that. They're very supportive because they know that I love it so much, but it is fun to get their perspective on different lessons I want to teach or how I want to teach it, or different challenges in the classroom. I love kind of running things by them because they have all very different personalities, to hear what they would think of that if their teacher approached it that way. And sometimes the feedback is amazing, and sometimes it's brutally honest, like a Bitmoji that I had to redo because apparently it was very cringe. So whatever. And my husband's just very supportive as well. He's moved me, he comes in and helps me, whatever. It's all good.
Yeah. Well, and you have a lot of furniture. And so here's another fun fact about Carrie in her classroom. Okay. So she likes to colorize her room. We'll call it colorize.
Yeah.
From top to bottom and almost every wall. So it doesn't even matter. She changes maybe the paint color on a wall, and then she goes in and she changes all of the bulletin boards. 4 times, 5 times, maybe a month. So every time you look at her door, it's something different. It was just crazy. I couldn't believe. I'm like, where do you get the time? But I think because she's up at 4:30.
Yeah. And that's also why my kids don't want to come in anymore and help me or also be teachers, because I have ruined it for them. So sorry. Okay. So do we want to talk about some upcoming topics just to preview this show, but other shows? We don't know exactly when, but coming within the next few weeks.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Because, we want you to come back, not just because we're funny or that were people that you know, but because you actually want to experience some, topics that you can participate in. So let's see what we got.
Okay. So you want to like ping pong?
Yes, ping pong.
Okay.
I'll ping you pong.
Is that an official teaching strategy? It might be.
I'm going to call it one.
Yeah.
How's that?
Let's copyright it.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one says you knew what you signed up for. Changes in education over time. And so we'll take a deeper dive into, when you first started teaching, you thought it was fill in the blank, but what you ended up signing for was the other blank, right? And so we're going to take a closer look, especially if you've been teaching for a while.
Mm-hmm.
What is it you thought you were going to do in the classroom? What is it you actually do? And that probably applies to also people who just started teaching or going to start teaching or are subs. Like it doesn't matter. Like lots of people experience, like, I thought it was this, but it really is that.
And that was one of the comments that kept coming up on social media when I was reading comments was, well, you knew what you signed up for. And to a certain extent, yes. And then, like you said, there's some things that are different. So we want to just talk about that. And also what has been an unexpected joy in your teaching, right? You knew you signed up for this, but then, wow, like I never in a million years would have thought I would teach middle school. Because when I first interviewed for my very first teaching job with the district, you're supposed to go in and interview for whatever your level is, like elementary, secondary. So I'm interviewing for elementary, but I told the interview I will only answer these questions from the perspective of a kindergarten teacher because that is the only grade that I'm ever going to teach. And so I did. And they still hired me. Kindergarten only. Okay? So we're going to talk about that.
Well, how different is middle school than kindergarten anyway? Come on. So what if they're bigger? They still have to, you still have to do a lot of things for them.
Yes.
And let's face facts, they all still have to go to the bathroom. Like their hands up, or maybe not. The only difference is maybe your kids don't, have the accidents.
No, we don't thankfully have that. Okay. So as we go through these, if something we say piques your interest or a thought pops in your brain, please send us an idea for a topic you would like to see. We are going to try to make sure everything we do is research-based. We kind of do our homework, so it's not like we'll be able to jump on it the next time because we want to give you a thoughtful answer. But go to our Facebook page, post a comment. Go to the YouTube page, post a comment. Anything, okay? Try to keep it positive, though. Don't hurt our feelings. All right. Another upcoming topic, behavior.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's deep.
The restorative justice debate. So I don't know if anybody outside of education has heard about that going on right now, but we're going to talk a little bit about those kinds of things. So yeah.
That one's going to be heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I'm going to have to get out my flow chart.
Yeah. Don't worry. She's got her whiteboard.
I will write on it. Okay.
Wait, and she'll probably bring chart paper and markers.
Yeah, probably
too.
a lot of different colors too. So, and fun magnets. So stay tuned. All right. What's our next upcoming, perhaps?
Well, let's see. And then we're going to talk about some grading policies. What do grades really mean? We've been through so much change in how we grade kids and what parents expect for grades and what do grades actually mean these days to both students and parents and teachers, because it's not sure that we all see it the same way. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We're going to bring some research into our conversation. And then we'd also like to hear from people all around the United States, because we know grading policies change. And we here in our school district get a lot of kids from all over the country. And we see their report cards, but tell us what they mean, right? Because a lot of times when we look at it, we think about it one way, but really is that the way grading is all over the United States?
Mm-hmm. Do you think we should bring in copies of our report cards from back in the day, and we could also evaluate those in the comments?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not sure if I still have those, but if I do, I'll be okay with that. I did find that I went through some of my stuff and I found a spelling test. By the way, I only kept the ones I got 100%. So I was looking through my little, notebook of things I saved as a kid, but evidently I didn't keep any of the stuff. I didn't do very well.
Are you perfectionist?
Not at all.
So I was thinking about our intro, how it has the pictures of us like through the years, like when we were little kids, like in school and then, high school, whatever. So maybe we could edit that. John could edit it and we could include your spelling test and like one of my report cards that may or I may have had an N in citizenship and I may have talked too much. I'm not quite sure. I just do remember sometimes getting in trouble.
So shouldn't you be able to go back to your permanent record and find your report card?
I know it should be somewhere.
So let me tell you a fun one about that, John, because the elementary school that I went to as a kid is now torn down. Okay.
But what happened to your permanent record?
Yeah.
I think it got burned up with the.
Is that an urban legend? The permanent record?
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking that it is.
I don't.
Yeah, when I was a kid, that's all we heard. This goes on your permanent record.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think I evidently when the school got torn down, I got expunged.
Well, and I think too, like if you're in K-12 education, it will follow you if you're in the same district or state through K-12. So it's permanent until then. So, but parents tell your kids it's permanent.
Right.
Okay, it's okay.
And if they know what the word permanent means, it's even better.
It's the marker they're not supposed to write on the whiteboard with.
Yeah, it never comes off.
No, there's a hack if you do that.
No, don't say that, man.
Okay,
You're trying to get the point across as
Oh, yeah, that's right. Children, don't
Do
touch
not
permanent
do
marker. There is.
We'll set this up so that no one under 12 can view it. How's that?
For sure, for
thank
sure.
goodness. Okay.
Okay, so next one. Okay, this one I think
Oh.
teachers are really going to want to get in on. Okay. Interruptions.
And we're not talking about the kids.
No.
Okay. No. So here's a fun fact today. So, teachers have to wear all these like keys and tags. Like forget wearing necklaces. I want you to know I have a whole like thing of necklaces I never wear like 9 months out of the year because I already have too much around my neck.
You have your lanyard necklace.
I have
What
my
else do you need?
lanyard. I have my button that says "Help me now."
And you have your microphone, right?
And, oh yeah, I have that too.
Yes.
I have like that little thing that like sits right here all day, and I feel like I'm constantly being choked, but that's okay. So where was I going with that?
Oh, interruptions today in my day.
Interrupted by my own.
This is
thoughts.
why you don't interrupt teachers, people. Stop doing it.
So on my little like tag, I'm like, I started every time someone opened the door, knocked on the door, walked through the door, and interrupted me today, I put a tally mark. And by the end of the day, I had 10 tally marks for exterior interruptions in my classroom. That's how many people came through the door. That's how many people stopped to ask me a question while I was teaching. So yeah, it was a lot. So we're going to talk about like, what does that mean for teachers and what happens when that just keeps happening over and over and over every day?
Yeah, because you saw what happened to her brain right there when she couldn't even keep track of herself.
Right. So then I had to like come back around.
Yeah. And I waited patiently for her.
Thank you.
Looks like we have a phone call. Hopefully it's somebody complimenting how amazing the show's going.
All right.
Okay, let's hear it.
Hi, this is Jim from Virginia.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, Jim, what's up?
And well, I'm a new teacher, and I'd like to get your input on teaching in a private school versus public school.
Oh,
I love the show. I know it's new. You guys are funny, and I look forward to the future. And I'll hang up and listen to your answer. Thank you so much, ladies.
Wow. That's a topic in and of itself. You better write that one down.
Yeah. I think for that one we might need a guest. So
most definitely.
Yeah.
We might need someone who works out there in the private school sector to see like how different it is. I never had that joy of going to private school. Did you?
No,
No,
absolutely not.
My mom threatened me with religious school, and I think I've called her bluff on it at one point and said, "Well, are you gonna do it?"
So that could be an interesting show, actually. Comparing and contrasting. Do you see that teacher lingo I did over there?
Check you out.
Public school, private school, and charter school. Because I know myself, being public school only, I'm still a little bit confused about how they are the same and different. So I would love to dive into that and get some guests on here.
Most definitely. And I also think like there's some confusion even within public school, like magnet versus like neighborhood school, right? even though they're all part of the public school system, what's the same and different about like magnet programs? So we could even throw that one in as a fourth category.
I think that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
So if you would like to be a guest and chat with us on 184 Days of Teaching Truths, please contact us.
Yes.
Because we have other microphones. We could put you like right here.
We do.
It'd be super cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we both shower, so it's all good.
Yeah. Just don't wear green or a shirt that has green in it. So anyway, we'll just have to
Some
point that
people
out.
need to remember that.
Some people here have been asked not to wear this shirt again. So, anyway, so interruptions. This is my funny joke though that I didn't get to add to it. So I would like to know, is this a school or a community center? So sometimes that's the thought bubble in my head when I get interrupted so many times, like 2 times in 10 minutes over clubs and sports when I'm trying to teach. So, and funny, we were doing a community circle today in my 6th grade class. It was the last period of the day, and it was a lighthearted topic. And
Sorry, first of all, explain what a community circle is.
sorry. So you just sit in a circle and you talk about silly, funny things just for team bonding, and everybody sees everybody's face and it's very respectful and fun. Okay.
Okay.
So it was our first day back, making it lighthearted, whatever. So the topic was, would you guys want to know the topic? Should I tell you
Yeah,
the topic?
that would be great. That
I don't
would
know
really
if I should
help.
copyright it though, because I made it up on the fly and it was a big hit. Okay, I'll tell you.
Look, let other teachers enjoy.
The topic was, if you could morph yourself into any color, what would it be and why? So it was super cool to see the kids take it well beyond what I was thinking, into textures and shapes and all these other things, right? Because that was the only parameters that I said, right? So
Okay.
they morphed it into all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so one of my students is in the middle of explaining why he would be metallic when we were interrupted for the second time in less than 10 minutes, and the look of offense on his face. And I'm like, you look exactly how I feel all of the time. Okay,
Right.
so I want to know, people who are in education, are you working at a school or a community center? Because sometimes I'm not quite sure what's happening here. Okay, so interruptions is a big one. Okay.
For sure. All right. So there's another topic that seems to the news seems to pick up a lot on, and they talk a lot about like administrators versus teachers. Like it's like a versus thing. And so is it teachers over here, administrators over here, and there's this great divide? Or is it more like teachers and administrators together? I think in some places it's and sometimes it's divide, right? And it just depends on where you work. And so what's the difference? Like, and does that collaboration or that division hurt or help your staff, right? And your school as a whole? You know, school morale is a really important thing, and a lot of administrators, you know, look at that, but are they helping it or are they not? So that'll be a good discussion to have. That'll be one of our topics we're going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an administrator out there and you're lucky enough to be watching this, then let me just tell you, we might invite you on.
Yeah, we'll have a microphone for you for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to talk about that by ourselves. We do want to get some admin up in here to talk about some things. Maybe just don't wear your shirt that has your school logo on it. Okay, I would be wearing that today on purpose. That's tomorrow's outfit. All right.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Another topic is called bad apples.
And we're not talking about those rotten ones you left out on the counter.
No. You know those ones you bought over winter break and you were going to eat healthy, but then you ate all the junk food and you threw them out yesterday before you came back to school because they were soft
I had
and
like
squishy?
3 of them today. I was
Yeah.
I was squeezing the apples
Yeah.
on my counter to see which one I was going to take.
Yeah, that
today.
was me yesterday. They were disgusting. Okay, anyway.
Oh.
So it's called Bad Apples. What does 49th in the nation really mean? Because that is a comment that comes up a lot on social media as well for our state. And I think a lot of us don't really know how schools are graded in the nation and what exactly is being looked at and what does that mean. Okay.
And do all states use the same tool, the same metrics to decide that? Or do they just decide it themselves and then line themselves up? Right. So it'd be an interesting conversation to have about, hey, what does it mean when you're talking about state rankings?
Yeah.
And how does that impact the morale of teachers? How does that impact the way states fund? Like, think about all of the different ways that number, that magical number, impacts schools.
Yeah.
And teachers,
because
we're the front line. Like we're the people out there, you know, doing the job. So
Yeah, and we know that 49 is only one less than 50, so we get the math behind it, but we want to dissect what
Did you know
does
that
it
50
mean?
is greater than
Oh, did I say it wrong?
49? No, but I
Okay.
mean, like,
Okay.
if you're talking about numbers,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's just not a number you want to be.
Exactly. I know. Okay, so this is a good one right here. This is where we may not agree.
Yeah, you and I are not going to agree on that one. The homework debate.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know.
Yeah, so
that there won't be any hair pulling.
No.
Okay, but
but did you notice how like our tone completely changed at this point?
and I might be leaning a little I might be leaning a little bit away from you.
Yes. So that would be a good one, I think, to have guests on as well, people that are passionate in either direction. Or does there have to be like opposites? I don't know. But anyway, homework
or maybe
debate.
we can find areas of agreement. How's that?
Perhaps we
Yeah.
can find common ground.
All right. So we have a question. It says, "Do you think our transient city has an effect on our ranking?" Well, there's definitely research out there that talks about the effect of transiency on students. So that could definitely be something we could talk about just as a topic itself, like transient students and what happens to classrooms, what happens to kids when you have kids coming in and out of a classroom all year long, right? Because that can change the dynamic of your class pretty fast in a good way, or, maybe not. And what's it like when you actually have a classroom that's pretty stable all year, where kids aren't moving? Like, does the data show that is a better learning environment for kids, or is the transiency, adversely affecting them or not? Like, it's a good topic to talk about.
Yeah. And I believe we already did a little bit of research into that one, right? And we were pretty shocked at some of the numbers and the information. So we'll definitely pump that show up before we do it, because I think it's something, especially where we live here in Vegas, that we need to be aware of.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because lots of teachers here feel the impact of kids moving around. And a lot of times, policies are created due to the fact that we know kids move around the town a lot.
So that's definitely one to talk about. And then we have about 20 already kind of, I don't want to say pre-planned, but like brainstormed, but we're looking for more. So we're just going to share one more.
Okay. So we all know that school boards, people that sit on school boards aren't necessarily teachers. They're people in the community. And it'd be really interesting to get some insights from people who have either been on a school board somewhere in the United States or are currently sitting on a school board. And we'd really like your input from your vantage point. Like, what's it like looking over, having that bird's eye view over an entire school district? What does that look like to you? And how is that different than the way like Carrie and I see teaching, right? Because we do believe that it is very different. And those decisions that are made are based off of their viewpoint, their vantage point. And are they asking for teacher input? Is that something that is valued? So that'd be a great conversation to have.
Yes, definitely. And that was a comment that I noticed came up a lot with the social media, was people just making different comments about the school board. And I'm not sure about what is in their control and what is out of their control, and exactly how a school board runs. So I know there's a lot of rules and decorum, is that the right word to use, that must be followed. So I would personally like to learn more about that as well. So at least if I'm going to have something to say, I'm going to be informed about it and not just give my opinion, right?
That's absolutely right.
All right.
Let me just tell you, Carrie has many informed opinions.
Yeah. Okay. So we've been told we need to take a break. So we're going to remember to say, come back in after the break. We have about 20 minutes left after the break. So take a break.
Hi, everybody. Aaron Phillips here, inviting you to join me every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. right here on Worldwide Digital Broadcasting TV on my show, Aaron's Hour with Aaron Phillips. I bring to you the movers and shakers of Las Vegas and really all around the world. It's also fun, entertaining, silly, goofy, informative, everything you'd want to be entertained by on a Saturday, except no politics, no religion. As I said, it's designed to be a fun show. Remember, that's every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific, right here, Aaron's Hour, Worldwide Digital Broadcasting TV. Most business owners struggle with the following issue. How do I brand my business to get noticed? 88 Design Studio helps businesses by designing brands that boost confidence, look and feel timeless, stand out from the competition, and attract all the right clients. Whether you are in need of a new brand, upgraded design elements, or completely redesign your current brand, Double 8 Design Studio has fully customized packages for your business. Call Chelsea McKendrick at 702-525-3334 and visit www.double8designstudio.com. Let Double 8 Design Studio give you a brand new outlook for your business.
Back to 184 Days Teaching Truth. My name is Christy Grandjean.
Oh, hi, I'm Carrie Allard. I'm just checking the notes, and also they moved my microphone. So trying to get my life together here. All right, so
She's amazingly put together, by the way, people. That she just pretends like she's not. This girl is up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I know this because weirdly, I might also be a lark, and it's weird to be friends with larks because larks are on the, texting at like 4:30 in the morning, like, hey, right. And then, oh, what time are you getting to school? Are you there at 6 or 7? What time's your contract? 8:30.
Right. Well, today I barely made it, but that's because I was working so much at home. And then I don't know if anybody else does this. They get super absorbed, and then you're like, "Oh my gosh, it's time to leave," and my makeup is not done or anything, and I am not leaving the house unless that is on.
Okay, so you know what? I'm mostly put together, not always. And I have this like horrible habit of putting my cell phone down in places I don't remember. And so this morning I'm running around the house going, I have to find my phone because I can't get into my school computer without my phone. So if I leave my phone at home, I'm locked out of my computer all day. So I have to leave with my phone. And so finally my husband wakes up and he like does the little find your phone thing. He goes, I think it's over here. I was like, oh man. I was running around the house for like 5 minutes. The dogs are chasing me. I'm like, to start out your Monday on a Tuesday, Monday morning, like after not being there for 2 weeks, and you're like, oh geez, I have so much to do, and I'm looking around for my silly phone.
Seriously, that's 5 whole minutes that you could have gotten a closer parking space, closer to the copy machine, or whatever it is that you needed.
Well, and then there's this guy who shows up, interruptions, who comes into my room a lot, like at 7:30, and just like just talking while I'm trying to be working.
See if that ever happens
again. Funny. Okay, that's a good thing about being new at a really big school. Nobody knows me, and so they don't want to talk to me, and that works out well for me.
So we both moved to different schools this past year, but I moved to a school I knew 7 people at. So and then I also brought a few people with me from our previous school, and so that makes 7 plus 5. 4 because I was one of the 5. So that's 11 people that I actually knew. So of those 11 people, one stops by a lot.
See if that'll happen again.
All right, so we're going to move into one of our topics that we plan to talk about today. We actually had 2, but I don't know if we'll have time for 2, but we'll definitely talk about one. And it's the misconception that overtime pay is not necessary for teachers. Okay.
Whew.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
What? So let's take a guess right now. How many hours in a week do you think the average teacher works? Okay. What was that? Show me again, John.
60.
60?
Hey.
Okay.
All right.
Do we have any comments in the chat? Are we being ignored?
You're being ignored.
Okay, that's too bad.
It's dinner time.
Okay. I can't see it.
Hasn't
Oh, gotcha.
It's not in yet.
Okay.
Stand by.
Well,
But keep going until
All right,
That
so
finger's typing.
we're paid for less than 8 hours, right? 7 hours, 11 minutes is what we're paid for, 184 days.
That's in the school district we work in.
Right, that's ours.
So no doubt out there that other teachers have some wonky number of hours they work as well. I think we're probably lucky that we're like 7-Eleven, like the store, like that's how you remember how many hours and minutes you actually get paid. But that's definitely not how many we actually work, right?
Yeah, we should do some more research and find out how many hours our teachers in other states paid for. So ours is just under 36 in this particular state and district. Okay. So the average number of hours, and this is in the nation, so we know that people could be more or less, 54 hours a week.
So it's interesting that you said 54, and so I was calculating up right before the winter break, because like you get caught up in in actually doing the work, right? So you're just working, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I actually hit like over 50 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that pretty regularly when I start adding up all of the hours and minutes that I work,
Mm-hmm.
Nights, weekends, before school, that kind of thing. So it's a lot more work than people think. It's definitely more than we get paid to work, but
Right.
that's and I'm not okay. So that's one of the things we knew when we signed up, was that teaching isn't a clock in, clock out kind of job. I don't know that we always signed up for like the crazy amount of hours that you would have to work. And usually they say, oh, the first 5 years of teaching are going to be your longest. Well, I'm in year 27, and guess what? I am still coming in and working early, staying late, and then making sure that I get my stuff done on the weekends too. So
the number of 54 hours came from an Ed Week article, and it's interesting that it said that teachers are working average 54 hours a week, but just under half of that time is actually devoted to working directly with the students. So the rest of that time is all the other stuff. Yeah. So what is some of that other stuff that we can't get done during our contract time?
Let's see. I don't know about you, but my prep period is not long enough to write lesson plans, grade papers, answer emails, read all my dojo, and then have other people who want to ask me questions that come by, right? Or say, hey, I have to give you something, or here, don't forget to fill this form out. And so very quickly, your time ticks away. Oh, and by the way, you do get to go to the bathroom during that time. So, you get to go a couple times a day. And so, yeah, after a while, you start to realize, gosh, I do so much of the actual teaching stuff outside of my contracted time. And so for those of you who don't know, Dojo is a way of, it's an app that you put on your phone or computer that allows teachers and parents to be able to communicate via a safe way of text messaging. And so you can send out class announcements. You can send out individual messages to parents. So just another way for parents to communicate with teachers. But that all takes time, right? And so we spend a lot of time doing things that actually don't have a lot to do with what we're actually teaching in front of the kids.
Right. And now that we know that there's a teacher shortage, right? There kind of always has been, but it seems to be getting worse. And then seems to be a shortage of subs as well. So now it's pretty common that teachers could be pulled to cover other classes. So you're voluntold, maybe you get put on the rotation to do that if you're not signing up for it, because you do get extra pay to do it.
Right.
And it just depends on, do you want or need that extra money, or do you need the time in your room instead to get grading done, lesson plans, email, redo your Canvas page.
Some people might need to do that.
Some people might need to do that when they go home from here.
Right.
So that can be really challenging to have that one prep time that you had. You have to give it up to go monitor another class.
And then when do you do all that work that you were supposed to get done during that time? Right.
Right.
And then of course that falls during your family time, which then your family doesn't get to have you around. So there's just a lot of things, teachers give up a lot of things in their life 9 months out of the year. I know there's a lot of fun memes out there about teachers and like teachers, before winter break, teachers after winter break. I know I saw this one meme. I thought it was hysterical. It was veteran teachers showing up 30 seconds before school starts, and they're riding this scooter, like sliding. And I'm thinking to myself, what veteran teacher's doing that? Well, it's not me.
That was me today. So I'm
Okay,
not
so
gonna
it was
lie.
Carrie. Evidently, they took a video of Carrie like taking her car right into the parking
Seriously.
space, slamming that door, running in, and hi, kids.
Yeah. I almost didn't make it. There were buses, there were school zones, and of course I obeyed the laws. And then there was a parent who couldn't quite fit into the parking space to drop off, so they blocked half of the lane. And I don't have very good spatial awareness, so I had a serious dilemma about if I should continue forward or not. And I had about 10 minutes, and I still had to get in the building. So we continued forward, and everything was okay.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank goodness.
Okay.
But sometimes
So-
that's not the case.
No. So 36 hours of pay for us, about 54 hours of work. So that's 18, right? 18 hours a week that we don't get paid for?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but if you're working somewhere other than being a teacher, how many of you spend that much time working for free? Because essentially that's what we do. Phil doesn't count.
Okay. Okay. John says that he does that.
John
So,
does that,
don't
but
know.
John's his own employer.
Yeah. So I
I
think
think
it's
that's not
different
fair.
if you're your own boss.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you need to talk to your management
Seriously.
because guess what? He can help you.
Yeah. And then is it still a policy that if you're emailed, you get an email from a parent or guardian that you're supposed to respond within 24 hours?
I don't know. I know when COVID was around that got a little bit more enforced
Mm-hmm.
because of course we weren't seeing kids every day. But I don't know. I told my parents at the beginning of the year, I said, listen, I will be happy to respond to you during my contracted hours, but when I go home, I'm there to spend time with my family and cook dinner and clean the dishes and feed the dogs and all the other jobs that I have to do
Mhm.
as a mom and as a family member. So yeah, and I have a cute new puppy. So hello.
Yeah, I try to do the 24 hours, but I also want to make sure my response is well thought out and I'm not sending garbage that I'm later going to have to take back.
Sure.
So I do definitely try. But
Well, we do get tired at the end of the day. I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but sometimes 7:30 rolls around and I may or may not be awake on the couch.
oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so hold up. I have a question really quick for our boss over here. When you held up that sign, was that 5 minutes or 5 o'clock?
5 minutes.
Oh, okay. We have 5 minutes. Should we really quick touch on how much money the average teacher spends on their classroom every year?
Sure, because that comes out of your let's call it comes out of your salary, right?
Yeah.
Because ultimately it's a deduction you don't get credit for from the IRS.
Right, because they give you a max of like
Like the $250 or something.
they clearly didn't read this article from USA Today that says it's not $250 that the average teacher spends on their classroom.
No.
Okay, we have any guesses here? Who do you think spends more? That's what I want to
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Which one do you think's the
Mhm.
cheapskate and which one's the spender?
I defer, Your Honor.
Why? Because you don't want to walk in the room tomorrow?
I'm not walking in tomorrow regardless.
All right. Do we have any comments in the chat? Who spends more and what do you think is the average amount a teacher spends on their classroom in a year? Maybe my mom texted me. Hold on. Wait, I don't have my phone.
Well,
I have my watch. Hold on.
Let
Mom,
me
did you text
see.
me?
I don't know.
No.
No,
This
nobody.
is just a guess,
Yeah.
Okay.
okay? But I'd say in a school year, you're probably looking at $1,000 to $2,000.
Well-
who's spending more between the two of them? Are you not listening to your own
No,
show?
Mhm.
And between the two of you,
Yeah.
I would guess that it's pretty much 50-50.
Oh.
Well, no, wait a minute. No, it's got to be Carrie because she does all that crap in her classroom, with painting the walls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's probably it.
Yeah, I might have given out hints and clues earlier about Carrie's expenditures.
I have an obsession with color and pattern. So yeah, it's definitely me between the two of us. But according to USA Today, the average teacher spends $860 a year on their classroom.
Well, and I would say Carrie does that like in a week or you sometimes in a month. Like
Sometimes
it depends on the
snacks.
Yeah, right. That's
depends.
true.
Well, she did say average.
I know,
Average.
average. So then we
Right.
have $5.
Oh no, not $5, but definitely like when it comes to the two of us, I'm more the thrifty gal. I'm
Mhm.
like, what can I get at the Dollar Tree? What are those Dollar Tree hacks? What do I have in my garage that I can use again? What teacher just retired and wants to give me all their boxes, right? So, as you get older, you can find those people.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely Carrie is also like, she likes everything color coordinated. She likes it like, just so. And I'm like, well, it looks good enough.
Someday we're going to be those older retired teachers with boxes
When
of
is
stuff.
that going to happen, man? Let's
don't
hurry
know.
that puppy up.
I don't know.
I'm hoping sooner than later.
So what kinds of things do teachers buy?
Wow. Well, let's see. Usually the parents are pretty good about buying like the pencils and the erasers and the markers and the notebooks. By the way, yes, thank you. That does not
very grateful.
come out of our crayons, right? All that stuff. Most of the time parents are purchasing that, and we're really grateful because that would just be even more money out of our pockets. But so many things about the school districts that they don't provide. They give you some teacher manuals and some student workbooks and things. But especially if you're in elementary school, your classroom library is supplied completely by the teacher. And books cost anywhere, like a paperback book costs anywhere between $5 and $10, and a hardback book costs anywhere from 15 to 20. And so unless teachers are getting like killer deals, or they are scouring secondhand stores or yard sales, it's really hard to be able to supply your classroom library with good quality books. I know that I have sunk literally thousands of dollars. I know I said I sunk thousands, but they're books.
We have that recorded, right?
Yeah, I said I sunk thousands. Don't tell Matt.
I was going to say, don't let her husband know.
But yeah, over time, definitely. And you always have to keep updating it, because as new, more popular books come out, kids are going to want to read those, right? And so you're constantly upgrading your libraries to reflect that. And so, yeah, that's not something the school district provides teachers. That comes out of their wallet entirely.
And then I feel like in elementary, as you're taking classes and as, you're becoming a teacher in college, and then all of the professional development, anything literacy based, they're always talking about, make sure your classroom library is well stocked. Oh, you need this. Oh, what is it, like 2,000 books or something?
I have at least that, probably more there. Not all of my books fit in the 4 bookshelves that I have full of books. I still have books in my garage at home that I like shift out over time, so that as the kids become better readers, I put in more challenging text. But I can't fit all my entire library into my classroom because it's just so vast. But I also know that my kids read a lot, and that's really important.
And they need it. So if they need it, then I guess we're going to get it done, right?
Absolutely.
Do you want to hear about my latest purchase that I bought for my classroom?
Boy.
I am so excited about this. Okay. It is, and I didn't want it to be this color, but at least it'll stand out. It's a hot pink colored pencil sharpener. Ordered it from Amazon. I needed it to be a bright, bold color so that the kids are very clear about, you can sharpen colored pencils in this sharpener. Do not sharpen colored pencils in the other electric pencil sharpener, because then it's broken. For some reason, they're too soft, like colored pencils, and they like gum it up or whatever. So you have to have a special sharpener. And I had handheld ones, and now those are gone. So I did the bright pink, hot pink, electric pencil sharpener for colored pencils. It's going to be introduced tomorrow. I'm super, super excited about this.
Yeah, and now if any of your students are watching, they now know. So, you need to slap like a little sticker that says Barbie.
I know. Teacher Barbie, because then it'll always stay there. Nobody's going to want to walk around with that thing, right?
Yeah, no. Not at all.
Yeah, so.
Like no middle schooler is going to want to do that.
Okay, so I'm really excited about that tomorrow. That will get me out of bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, because I got to get it labeled with Sharpie with my name on it and a little Barbie sign.
Right. And let's face facts, Carrie. You're going to try it out. You're going to sharpen a bunch of pencils.
I may have a mega pack of colored pencils from Walmart at home as well to break in. So
and there
I'm just saying. Yeah, right? I'm just saying. Okay, so checking my notes. Okay, clearly I'm not a professional at this. I'm much smoother in the classroom, just so we all know. Okay, so we're getting ready to wrap this up. We're tired, and now we're getting a little silly. Please email us, teachingtruths184@gmail.com. Post a comment on our YouTube channel, 184 Days Teaching Truths.
And by the way, there's a colon after the 184 days teaching truths. If you forget that colon, it's not going to show up.
Oh yes, she's very technical like that. Okay,
Well,
but
you know,
she's right. She's right.
punctuation matters.
It does. It does. We should wear a fun shirt next time. Okay. And then we also have Facebook, 184 Days Teaching Truths as well. So you can post comments there, even though our show is going to be wrapping up in 30 seconds. We'll still read those comments.
Yes.
Okay?
Actually, Carrie's going to
Yeah.
a lot of the comments.
Yeah. And then I know I love comments. I love information. So anyway, and then our motto, we just want to restate it that being informed is greater
than being opinionated.
Yeah.
So till
All right.
next time, good to see you all. Christy Grandjean.
Carrie Allard, see you on the 3rd Tuesday of January.
There you go.
4 o'clock.
184 days teaching truth.
Bye.